Aloha, gang. I am sorry. I am like 45 minutes late. Here we go. Well, no, 50 minutes late. So thank you guys. I mean, I'm going to talk a little longer than normal. So for those of you watching the replay, you can feel free to skip forward a little bit. But I really want to thank those of you who have been waiting. Hopefully notifications will go up. Yes, too much partying, B Tim, way too much partying. And I literally got many of you guys know my uncle has been in the hospital for, gosh, about 3 weeks now. And about an hour before I went live, I got a phone call, hour and a half before I went live from my auntie with an update. And then literally right when we were getting ready to start, I got a call from my cousin needing to just talk. And I wanted to be there for her. They've got a lot going on right now. Yeah, keep their family, the whole family in your prayers. It's always hard when a parent, a husband, a wife, whoever is having a really rough time and you don't know what the future is going to hold for you or your family. So if you can please keep them in your mind. Let's see, I've got 2 cousins, my aunt, of course, my uncle, my niece, all of them. So if you guys can keep them in your thoughts and prayers, I really would appreciate that and everything. So thank you so much, Tim. And yeah, it's always nuts, but you know what? Family is family, and you stick with family. And we were talking, kind of helps. He's in a facility right now, and since I'm a nursing home administrator, I can kind of try to help with some of the process and understanding what's going on. So that's what I've been doing. So YouTube should be sending out all the notifications. So I'm going to say some quick heys. Miss Cristola stuck her butt out in chat. Okay, until I finally told everyone, come back once I'm done. Go for it. And also if I know Cristola, she'll be back before you know it. And but love you, my dear. And Miss Carrie G, thank you for the prayers, Carrie. Thank you so much for the prayers. And Seal, I'm sending prayers over your direction to deal with 2 sick kiddos. That's no fun. That's no fun at all. So hope you get some rest. You definitely need it if you got 2 kiddos sick at home for sure. And Robbie, hit that thumbs up, guys. Yes, definitely hit the thumbs up. Share out with friends, because we are going to be talking about a good subject tonight about emotional boundaries. Because I think emotional boundaries personally are some of the harder boundaries for me, because a physical boundary, all these other types of boundaries are easier for me, but emotional boundaries are harder because, you know what? It's taking care of my emotions, and I'm better at watching out for everyone else's emotions than my own. So good one for there. Sleuth. Yes, we hope that Miss Seal's grandkiddos feel better. And on hello, butterfly kisses. How you doing, my dear? Hey. And Tim, you know what? Party. It's Friday night. We got a party. We will be doing Cantina. I am going to try to continue Cantina tonight. But it's going to be a lot of boom today instead. So we'll see how that goes. And I did just realize, because I got busy, I did not get to check Battissimo out. So I apologize to everyone on that. I don't even have Cantina set up yet. So what a day. Susan! Aloha, Miss Susan. Hope you're doing good. Mind your business. Oh my God, there we go. You're gonna get me singing out here. Oh no, I'll go into the fun stuff like girl. Okay, I'm gonna behave myself. Love you guys. Okay, Brittany Bish, you got it. We love our oh my gosh, Brittany's got some good stuff. Oh my God, out right now, really good stuff. So, okay, caffeine. I need caffeine. And let me move us over to here. We've got a couple of us here in chat, so I'm going to go ahead and start moving us into our discussion. It's discussion times. And that's great that you're making progress, butterfly kisses. And Okay, Susan, you know what? Let's see what we can do. I've got my email. If you need to contact me and Discord isn't working or things, feel free to send me an email, thelocalmylife@gmail.com. Okay, and I will keep an eye out for sure, Susan, for sure. And so, y'all know the original. Gosh, the dogs are having a great day. I mean, while I was on the phone, they kept barking, so they all got one. Now they just got a second one. So they are very happy puppies right now. So shared with you guys the email if you need to get me. There's our next most important thing, actually, more important than even the email, is 988 gang. We are talking emotions, boundaries, stuff that drive all of us crazy. If you find yourself triggering and you don't feel like you've got your tools working for you in the way they normally do, please call 988. Okay, show yourself the love and give them a phone call. So, Christola, thanks for sharing that out. So, we've been talking a lot lately about two things have kind of dovetailed into a lot of the conversations on Mondays, on Fridays, and that is codependence and boundaries. Okay, a lot of discussions about being codependent, about setting boundaries, about having people burst through your boundaries, things like that. So I started looking at myself, and like I said, my emotional boundaries are the hardest for me to handle. And I think that is because of being a little close to the codependent side at times, and it's something I have to really kind of look at a lot of times. And so what I wanted to start with is I love Michael. I love you, Michael. And I love you, Robbie, too. And the doggy and the kitties. And okay, moving on. Love you guys. And I want to babysit for Doja Han so bad someday, but the problem is I'm not ever going to get over to Denver, it looks like. Yeah, I don't know. I'll talk to you about that later. There might be something happening. We'll find. I doubt it's going to happen, but we'll find out. Jets Mom! Love you, Jets Mom. Love you, my dear. And Rosaling is in the house. Hello, Rosaling. Yay. Okay, awesome. I am going to keep an email. Look out for the email, Susan, for sure. So, types of boundaries. Okay, we hear about boundaries all the time, every day it seems. Okay, everyone always says, okay, make sure to follow your boundaries, make sure to do this, that, whatever it is. Okay, important thing to recognize is there's a lot of different types of boundaries. Okay, and some are easier to create than others. Okay, you have emotional boundaries, what we're going to talk about today, things that affect your own emotions, okay, and can quickly get out of hand. Okay, our emotions can very quickly start running away with us if we don't watch it, and having those boundaries in place is helpful. There's also physical boundaries. We talk about that, okay? Okay, if someone comes into your area, it's like, oh, no, step back, you're getting a little too close. Or maybe you're one of those people who don't like hugs or something like that. It's like, nope, that's my boundary. I don't want to be hugged or something like that. There's different people who feel different ways about things. Time is another type of boundary. Our time is worth things. How many of you guys have found yourselves talking to someone who volunteers you to do this or volunteers, oh yeah, local will pick up the kids from school today, I'm sure, no problem whatsoever. Or things. Exactly, Robbie. I was thinking when I was saying the hugs bit, I'm like, yeah, unless you're certain people, Robbie doesn't like his hugs either. So, and also, but people offer your time all the time. Well, you know what? Our time is our boundary. Okay, we have the ability to say, no, I don't want to do that right now. I'm busy at that time, or I want to do something else with my time. Okay, material boundaries. Okay, material boundaries can be about borrowing things, okay? Things that are physical, okay, that people are like, oh, okay, you have boundaries when it comes to letting people take this or that. Carrie G's back. Hey, Carrie. Thank you for coming back, my dear. Thank you so much. And then, of course, mental. Rosaling's internet hates her. Mine's been acting up a little bit today, too. I've been noticing. I keep getting that little round thing every now and then. So mental health, mental boundaries. about sharing information too much, okay, about giving out. Mental and emotional often come very close. They dovetail very easily. And, but those are basically the types of boundaries that are out there. Okay, friendships, okay, how close you get to someone, how you interact with people, things like that. So taking the next step, what I want to do is just zero in on emotional boundaries today. Okay. What are your emotional boundaries? I'm going to mention a bunch. I've told you guys before, there's some amazing people out on the internet. I just typed in emotional boundaries on Google and got tons of information through there. Here, YouTube, Julie Christina does amazing stuff. There's some other people who have some amazing things out there. If you want to look further, please take a look at those places because just amazing stuff. Julia Christina's stuff on the idea of boundaries in general is awesome, her playlist. So emotional boundaries, all of us are going to have different things, okay, that trigger us, that need to have a boundary created, okay? What might be a boundary for me may not be for Christola, for example. Okay, or Susan may be like, oh yeah, no, that's my boundary. Don't cross that. And I might be like, oh, I'm cool with that. And that's how boundaries work. Boundaries are things that are affecting us. Okay, things that we realize if we cross those lines, things could get triggered. I don't feel comfortable. My emotions, I might get angry. So many different things that can pop up. Susan is saying, I had that this week. Someone from Facebook wanted to meet me and he got creepy. Oh, shoot, real fast. As he wanted hugs as soon as we met. He'd say that he's coming 2 hours or so to meet me and wanted more than. Yeah. And you know what? You have those boundaries. They're set. Okay, a person who is worth knowing is going to understand those boundaries. Can boundaries be unhealthy? Yeah, there's unhealthy boundaries out there too. And maybe someday we will be willing to, we will be able to talk about unhealthy boundaries. And a healthy boundary is looking at yourself, what you need, but it's also kind. It's something that, okay, you need to do for you, but it's not out to hurt other people either. Okay, it comes from somewhere. So yes, Susan, you stick to yourself, know your boundaries. Okay, you take care of yourself, and yeah, be careful, my dear. We love you. Be careful. Jet's mom, I'm very careful around negative energies. It really triggers me. Exactly. And that's it. Some of us, because of, okay, being empathetic, things like that, we may feel emotions a little bit more than someone who isn't. So we may need to have boundaries in place that other people may not have to. So an emotional boundary, a way we can kind of put out the idea of an emotional boundary is it's a space. A boundary is a space where we can feel and respond to other people's emotions. Okay, emotions they're bringing to us. Okay, we've all been in the situation where we're talking with a friend who's having a rough time. Okay, you're able to be there and respond to them. Okay, feel, okay, as an empathic person, I mean, you're able to feel these things. You're able to be there for them and all. However, the boundary allows you to do that without letting those emotions dictate your own reality, okay? Your own ability to respond and things like that. So you're looking at all the emotions that are coming in from your discussions or from what is happening around you or whatever, and you're able to say, okay, you know what? We're getting to a point where this is not comfortable for me anymore. And I need to take care of my own emotions. And this is a boundary I have put into play. And that might even change. And many times, okay, our emotional boundaries may change based off of where our emotions are right then. If I'm in a more triggered state of mind, I'm probably not going to let myself get pushed as far as I would if I was totally feeling wonderful. And also, you've got to really be in tune with yourself. And that's one thing we talk about every Friday. Okay, that's what this whole series is about, is learning yourself so that you can recognize when something is not right. The same way you do that for the doctor. You can go to a doctor and say, oh yeah, I've been having headaches more often than normal, or this is going on, or whatever. You know your body. Well, it's just as important to understand your mental health. Where are you coming from? What are the different feelings? And Susan, you know what? Sounds to me like someone, just from what you're saying right there, someone may not have gotten his way and decided to gaslight. Not you. Stand by who you are and what you need for yourself. And yeah, just be who you know you are. That's what's important. So emotional boundaries come down to paying attention to what is going on inside of us. What is going on? What are the emotions we're feeling inside of us? And we're watching everything going on outside. Okay, and though that outside is going to affect us in one way or another. Okay, and we need to recognize those limits. Okay, amen, Rosaline. Be true to you, boo. Bingo. And so recognize your limits. Put the boundary in place so you are taking care of yourself. That's what it comes down to, is being there for yourself and taking care of yourself. Okay, boundaries, and this is one of the things, a lot of times we see boundaries as something that is against the other person. But in reality, boundaries are not about changing others. Okay, a lot of times that's my first thought is, oh yeah, I have this boundary because I don't want people to act this way or do this or do that. That's not what the boundary is there for. The boundary is more for us to make changes to help ourselves. It's about how we're feeling and what we need to put into place to take care of ourselves, not force other people to change. And that's where it's important to recognize, because once it becomes about forcing change on others, I think that's when we start getting into this idea of what's a healthy boundary, because a healthy boundary is not necessarily about you must do this way on this timing and da 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 da. That's a forcefulness. That's a forcing your way on something else, rather than saying, I've got these boundaries in place for me and my actions and what I'm willing to listen to, what I'm willing to participate in, and also that I'm taking care of myself. So it's a different way of thinking of a boundary. So when we are looking at emotional boundaries, there's a number of them, okay, and there's many, many different ones. As I said earlier, Julia Christina has some amazing stuff, and she kind of lists out a bunch of them. And I kind of wanted to use most of her information because it's really good information out there. There's some other stuff I'm going to be pulling in off of Google. Dr. Google is always wonderful also. But one of the first boundaries I wanted to mention, Jet's mom, stepping into healthy relationship. It's all about boundaries. Exactly. Bingo, right there. And because if you're creating a healthy relationship with something or someone, you really need to understand who that person is. Hey, Robin. Aloha, my dear. Aloha. Hope you're feeling good, my dear. You need to understand who they are, and they need to understand who you are, what you're comfortable talking about, what you're not comfortable talking about. Okay, what you're comfortable doing, what are your limits in life, and vice versa. So the first of the emotional boundaries is probably one of the easiest for me to look at times, and that's triggering conversations. Okay, this type of boundary is basically looking at those conversations that we have with people that tend to bring up very strong reactions. And you know it's going to bring up a strong reaction. Okay, we talk about those things that you never talk about at the dinner table, okay, during holidays, things like that. That's what we're talking about here. Those conversations that you know are most likely going to pull up a triggering response for you or for others. Aloha, Miss K9. Hope you're doing well. And K9 says, in my own life experience, a good relationship doesn't need boundaries because there is already respect. Yes, that's a good way to put it. Now, that respect is also based off of understanding each other's limits. So see, another way of putting it, I get exactly what you're saying there. Dogs are starting to go crazy again. And also, good one there. By the way, these links are to sites for specific emotional boundaries. Ooh, Christola. Christola does all this research on her own. I love it. I mean, she pulls up the most amazing stuff, gang. I actually have been known to go back and look at the links she pulls up at times because they're really good. So, what are these subjects? Well, there are things like politics, religion, okay, those things that we know are going to bring up this really rough thing. My mom and I actually are both the same political party, and yet we can get in the biggest arguments over politics. Biggest arguments in the world. And it can trigger me. In fact, just this last week, Mom and I got in a huge blowout over it. And I remember saying before we blew up, saying, okay, Mom, I don't want to talk about this today because I know it's going to go somewhere bad. Okay. I remember saying that because I knew it was going to go in that direction. And because of that, I wanted to try to stop it. Did it stop it? No. Unfortunately, we continued. But that was because it wasn't just she who kept talking about it. It was, sorry, I'm opening up dog treats for the dog because I'm going to try something else. It wasn't just about her following those rules. I had to follow them too. And I could have shut up about it and been like, okay, at this point, we're done with this. I'm not talking about this anymore. And I could have totally just insisted, but I didn't. I kept talking about it just as much. So important to recognize that. So how are you going to recognize this? That day when Mom and I got talking and I knew we were getting into a political discussion, and I knew it was going to probably turn into a pretty bad fight or something, how did I know? Well, I knew because I started feeling things about inside of me. I started feeling my anger boiling up. I could see I was getting quicker tempered. I was going to jump quicker. Okay, I started actually noticing that I was getting shaky inside, almost like an anxiety that was going on. And so listen for those trigger responses. Okay, love you, Christola. And listen for those trigger responses. Listen to your body. In the same way, you know when you are getting ready to get sick because you feel the notifications your body is giving you, those symptoms, you're also getting those notifications before you get triggered on something. So if you recognize it and you're like, oh yeah, we're talking about this again, okay, you know right away. Okay, this is not the discussion for me. I need to stop this discussion. Okay, because I care too much about the friendship that I'm in, the relationship that I have. And so how can you do that? Well, a lot of different ways, lots and lots of different ways. Okay, you could just let them know you're feeling triggered. Like I said that day, I remember actually specifically saying, hey, Mom, you know, I don't want to talk about politics today. We'll watch this on TV, but I don't want to talk about it right now because it's not going to go anywhere good. Okay, I'm going to say something that I later on regret. Okay, or something like that's going to go on. So those are things you can say, and it's totally fine to do that. It's totally fine to just let them know. Okay, remember back to what we were talking about last week, ways we can talk to each other about things and saying that, you know, it's okay for you to believe the way that you believe and the way I believe for me to believe it. Okay, that's totally fine. At this time, I'd like to stop talking about this though, because I respect your beliefs and I just would like to stop at this point. And it's totally fine to do that. Okay, because in the end, you know, this is it. Now, next one I wanted to bring up is actually something I didn't even consider as a actual boundary, and that's labeling. People that label other people. Throughout my life, okay, labels have been thrown at me. I think all of us have dealt with a label here or there, okay, and you just learn how to deal with it or whatever. Well, you know what? You could have a boundary based off of that. Okay, you have every right in the world to decide that you aren't okay with someone calling you sensitive or vain, or, oh, you're just being needy. Okay, we get this, especially the labeling one seems to come into play when we're dealing with a lot of gaslighting. Okay, or you recognize there's an issue that's there. And sometimes, honestly, the label does make sense. Okay, yes, I can be sensitive at times. I truly can be. Okay, and yeah, it's probably not in a positive way at times. So I get that. Okay, but it doesn't need to be used as a label. Okay, instead, yes, there's an issue there. I understand there's an issue there. But what a lot of people don't realize is the label itself, in my eyes, this is just me speaking, is basically gaslighting, and that's it. Because chances are there's a hell of a lot more involved than just being sensitive. That's making it way too simple. It's oversimplifying a whole huge issue. And the issue may have things on both sides. Okay, so a lot of time, yes, Jets Mom, the current political climate's all about labels. And the labels do nothing but oversimplify everything. Okay, it's like I said, Mom and I are, okay, we're both the same, okay, political party. We're both Republican. Okay, but I will be honest, she and I can get going off one level or the other. And so if we were going to use a label, it's kind of forgetting that there's all these other sides to things, because everything can't be thrown down to just one little definition. There's a heck of a lot more involved in life than one definition that makes someone who they are. Okay, it's like sitting there and saying, oh yeah, you've got brown hair. Well, guess what? There's many types of brown hair. There's many different shades. There's many. So labeling, every label becomes a heavy oversimplification if you really look at it. So what could you do about that? If someone is coming to you and giving you a label, and it's something that you know I'm not cool with, okay, I'm not okay with this, okay, you have that right to step up. You can say, well, you know what, I can understand this is something that we need to discuss. There may be something going on here that you and I do need to discuss and all. However, I need you to understand putting a label on me is not helpful for this situation. It's not going to help us in working through this issue. And that's fine. It's okay to be able to tell them, you know what? I'm cool talking about this, but I'm not cool with you giving me a label. So having that ability to do that is, and it gives you the strength, okay, to actually, first of all, recognize, you know what, there might be something you need to address in yourself. And, but no, it's not right to, okay, simplify things down that. And K9, you got that right, Jets Mom, but what I love is all they do is swapping one label for, oh my God, yes, that is true. Very, very, very true. So our next boundary, and I'm kind of going a little faster on this because of the fact I was running so late. So you guys stop me in chat if you have questions or want to discuss something. And of course, during Cantina, we can always come back and revisit anything from today. So the next type of boundary I wanted to talk about, and this is one I think I probably need to work on more, and I am probably out of all these, this is my number one boundary I'm working on, and that's the support boundary. What is a support boundary? We've all had these friendships that are one-sided friendships. Okay, relationships, friendships, okay, colleague system at work, whatever it is. We've all had the occasion where you are in a relationship that is heavily one-sided. Okay, and yes, a healthy friendship, a healthy relationship is going to have moments of one-sidedness. Definitely. Okay, there's times I'm going to support my boyfriend. There's times my boyfriend would support me. I don't have a boyfriend right now, but if I did, I'm sure that's what life would be like. Maybe. And, but that's what it's about. Okay, both sides. Sometimes, okay, it's like that scale and it goes like this. It shouldn't just get stuck like that. Once it gets stuck like that, we know there's a problem here. Okay, because what happens is a lot of times you find one person in these types of support boundaries that need a support boundary in place. You have one person who is always complaining. They're always needing your support. They're always having something go on. And you know what? It's real. What they're going through is real. Okay, you're not saying when you decide to put a boundary, a support boundary in place, you are not making light of the other person's issues, because those are real. They are real. They're issues that that person's going through and all. But in this case, it's always from one. Maybe they bounce from issue to issue to issue. Okay, you barely solve this issue, then there's a new issue, then there's a new issue, and it keeps going like that. And you might give them suggestions, okay, and that person may not be willing to listen to your suggestions because they're so focused on all that's going on with them, and they're just not at the place where they're willing to deal with the emotions that are going on or healing or whatever it is that they're going through. They may not be ready to deal with the problem they're having at work or something like that. But you give them the suggestions because you're there trying to help them and be that friend. And the problem is, in the end, this becomes extremely frustrating for both people, not just one. Okay, Jet's mom says reciprocal relationship is huge. It's okay to love people from afar if they wipe you out. Yeah, it's not okay. It's not selfish to protect your own self-care routine from, exactly. And it gets frustrating for both people. Okay, because of course you've got the one person who's always down. They're always having one issue after another. And like I said, those are real issues they're dealing with. So it is frustrating for them to feel that way all the time. But it also becomes frustrating for that other person because they start feeling like they can't help. Okay, most of us want to help other people, whether it's from a codependent point or a healthy point. We like to help other people. We don't want to hurt people. We want to help people. So if someone comes to probably any one of us in this chat right now, okay, that is really hurting, okay, if someone who's really hurting comes to you, most likely you're going to suggest something that will help them out because we don't like to see people hurt. It's part of us, okay? We want to help those who are hurting. So when you find someone in a support boundary type situation who is having those issues repeatedly over and over, and maybe you're even going as far as to offer all these suggestions and nothing ever comes of it, and then that person, or even more, sometimes that other person, okay, you in the case, because you're the one setting up the boundary, you're the one setting up that support boundary, what if you're having a rough time? Okay, sometimes helping other people can pull you down because that other person may bring up things that trigger you to begin with, okay? Or maybe you're already having a lot of issues with work or your personal life or things like that. And so it becomes this thing that you're dealing with so much yourself and trying to find that happy medium place. And you're looking for that. So it's important at this place to realize you can put a boundary into place. You can still be a friend. You can still support that person. But you can also have a boundary in place to ensure that you are taking care of yourself. Okay, you have to take care of yourself. Okay, and it's really boundaries without expectations. Easy to say, difficult to act on. Yes, exactly. And this one's a hard one because everyone, okay, I don't know about you. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want people to feel like they're not loved or things like that. But recognizing you can have a boundary and still love someone, still care about someone. It's possible. So a lot of times, how can you do this in an emotional boundary setup, okay, when you're dealing with support? You can honestly just going to the person, okay, and acknowledging that you get it. They're having a rough time. Okay, something like, okay, I understand you're really having a rough time right now. I can feel that from you. Um, I need you to know right now, I'm going through a lot myself, and I just can't be your main support system right now. I can be here, but you can't be there at all. Maybe you need to say, you know what, I'm still here for you, but I can't actively be supporting right now because I need to focus on myself right now. Okay, it's not that I don't like you or anything like that. I just truly need to take care of myself right now and get myself in a better place. And but I do understand you're having a rough time. Letting them know that. Okay, you need to, it's like any caregiver, to be honest. If you're not taking care of yourself, and that's what boundaries are there for, you can't, in this type of situation, you can't help other people if you're not helping yourself first. So stepping up and letting them know, I care about you. I'm still your friend. I want to still be your friend. Maybe I can be there at times. Maybe I can't be there. You know better than anyone else. Okay, but I need to focus. And I've had to do that. I've actually had to tell some friends of mine before, guys, I know you're really having a rough time right now, but I'm falling apart right now, and I need to take care of myself right now. I've actually had to say that in the last 3 months a couple times. And so it's just something there. Now you're next. What's our next type of boundary that we're looking at? Next boundary, let me make sure I got that here, is a feedback boundary. So this is another one. In fact, someone in this community I was talking to the other day, and all of a sudden, this kind of would fit into this, actually. And it really was kind of cool when I put one and one together. Oh, sorry, let me get rid of that little scrolling thing. So what is a feedback boundary? Okay, feedback boundary comes when, okay, we've all had the situation when we are telling someone about a problem we're having, whether it's work related, with one of our children, okay, our relationship, whatever it is. We're having some problem right then that we're trying to work through. And the other person gives us tons and tons of advice. Hey, Jessica, how you doing, my dear? Happy Friday. This other person, you tell them, oh yeah, I'm really having my kid's doing this right now, and this is happening here, and this is happening. And the other person is just like, I'm going to solve all your problems, and I'm going to keep throwing out all of these ideas on what you can do. I want to help fix the problem. I'm going to throw all these. You know what? That's me. I'll say it right now. If I don't watch myself, I will try to solve problems all the time. I'll be, well, have you tried doing this yet? Have you tried doing that? And it's coming from a good place. And sometimes the person truly wants help. Sometimes they truly do want help. Sometimes the person just wants to be heard. They just want someone to know that they're there and they're having a rough time. They'll have control over everything that they're doing. They just need to vent. And exactly, Jets Mom. And that's what I've started doing lately. And so recognizing that, you know what, it is okay to just say, hey, you know, and this is what I did with this person actually last week. We were talking about issues they were going through and all that. And we're talking, it turned out that time it was more offering advice and all, but at the end, I just did this with my cousin hanging up off the phone a few minutes ago. I said, you know what, if you ever need to talk with me and just be heard, you just want me to be a wall that is standing there that you can just talk to, I'm here. But let me know that's what you need. I need to know what your expectations are. Because the problem is this. Our expectations a lot of time can be different. Okay, one person might be thinking, oh, my expectation in complaining is I need solutions. And yet the person who's listening might be thinking, oh, you just want me to listen. So talk, communicate with each other. Let each other know what it is you need, because it's totally fine to do that. And actually it helps. Okay, just say, if you're that person who's getting all this feedback given to you and you're like, I don't need all this, because that's sometimes what will happen with me. Okay, I'll be like, I don't need all this. I just need a vent. I don't need people to feel like they have to solve this week. Last week, yes, I needed it solved. This week, I needed this. Just letting them know, you know what? Thank you so much. Okay, right now, I don't need someone to help me solve things, and I really just need someone to listen to me and hear me so that we're good. Okay, that I can get all my emotions out. I just need someone to listen right now so that I don't feel alone. I need to get the emotions out. And also, either side can make that communication there. It becomes relief for both sides again. Again, that communication comes down to relief. Communication of any type becomes true relief. Okay, the person who is venting gets to finally vent and not worry about what they're saying. And the other person who's giving all of this feedback, you know what? Maybe they are racking their brain for feedback and they're like, oh my God, I can't think of anything else. There's got to be another idea, another suggestion I can give them. But if they know they don't need to come up with suggestions, then it kind of calms them down, because now they know, oh, I just need to be here. I just need to be a friend and be here and listen. And it makes all the difference in the world. Okay, so letting people know those things makes such a difference. Okay, Christola, that's another boundary too. Learn to say yourself, I'm venting and I'm not asking. Yes, like exactly, goes both sides. Sometimes people make you a fixer whether you want to be or not. Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes. And I think that's when it's important for us to understand when we're able to be that person who's doing the feedback versus when we're like, I'm just not in that place to provide that right now. And there are times, I mean, I'll be honest, okay, I sent a message to someone in between. I was on the phone with my cousin a few minutes ago, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this live. I don't know if I can, and I was kind of going back and forth trying to figure out, literally typing with one hand with my phone and talking to my cousin and all, and trying to figure out, what do I do? What do I do with that? And then I just had to listen. Okay, what do you want to do? Forget about everything else. Forget about expectations. Forget about all those things. What do you need to do? Because you know your friends out there, your community out there are going to support you no matter what. They just care about you. They don't care if you had to cancel, you reschedule. If you do it, they'll be there. And bingo, you're there. And that's the community we have. And which is amazing here. So the next type of boundary we've got is an information boundary. This one is the queen of YouTube boundaries in my eyes. What is an information boundary? Okay, this one I was lost on until I actually read what it was, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That makes total sense. It's a boundary concerning what information you're willing to share. Are you okay sharing information out? Okay, how many times do we all have conversations with people where you just have to tell people, you know what? I'm not okay sharing that information. Okay, that's not your business. Okay, and I don't want to make it your business. And making a decision, like me. Okay, a few minutes ago, I had to make a decision. I'm not able to do the live, so is this an information boundary for me? What happened? No, I'm cool sharing it. So in this case, I was like, okay, I'll share with you. Am I sharing everything that happened? No. There's certain things, what's going on with my uncle, all that's private. Okay, and that's my boundary right now, that I hold that as a private thing, okay, because that's his boundary. Okay, well, it's not, he's never told me that, but to me, he should be the one telling me it's okay to share it. And so, Christola, thank you so much. We will see. I do have part of a pizza that was lunch that never got eaten. So who knows? I might heat it up real quick. But yes, I do need to schedule canteen and everything tonight. Thank you, Jessica. Love you. Thank you. So an information boundary, okay, is usually when you have a situation. Here she goes. Hello, 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 my dear. Welcome. Happy Friday. So when these situations pop up and everyone wants to know what happened, like I said, YouTube alone loves to push this boundary. Okay, something happens and everyone wants to know, well, what happened there? Okay, well, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? What about this? What about that? All of the information, that's exactly what starts happening there. And the people, whether it's people in chat, okay, or creator or whatever, has the ability to be able to say, thanks for asking that question, but I'm just not ready to share that information right now. Or maybe I'm not comfortable sharing that. Okay, could be a type of thing where you just don't want to share the information right now. You're still processing it and stuff like that. Or it could be something that you're never going to share that information. And that's your right. Okay. Bingo, Crystal. To quote Rob and Brittany Bish, mind your biz. Exactly, right there, right there. And so it doesn't matter what the thing is. And you know what? The other side of this, I tell my mom this all the time. When you say, I'm not sharing that information, you don't have to give an excuse for it. It doesn't matter why you are sharing that information or you're not sharing that information. It's your choice. If you want to share with them, well, you know what, like I just did, well, that's actually my uncle. Okay, I would let my uncle make the decision on that or something on that level, then that's fine. But you don't have to. My mom's the queen of when she says no about something like that, she feels like she has to give the whole story as to why she's come up with the no. No, you don't have to. It's not something you have to do. Okay, next boundary. Our next boundary is privacy. So this kind of fits with the information one game. Okay, this is our last of the boundaries before we get moving on. But privacy boundary basically is the ability for us to state when we want something to be kept private. Okay, and we do this a lot. How many times have you been on a messenger chat or a Discord chat with someone and you talk to them about something? And in that you say, you know what, I'm going to ask you to please don't share that with, and I'm going to share something with you, but could I ask that you please keep this private between us? Okay, you're dealing with, maybe you're talking about you and your husband, or you're talking about issues your children are having, or things like that. Okay, that is a boundary we are allowed to have. Okay, we are allowed to tell people when we expect something to be private. Okay, just the same way we have the right to say when we're going to share or not. Okay, Canine, I tend to not share a whole lot with anyone but really close family and friends. I'm kind of the same. Once I know you real well, I share a lot more, but yeah, I have to really get to know you first. I always figure everyone has their own crap to deal with and don't need to hear mine. Canine, we love you. We love you, and you can always share. Never feel like you can't, but I get what you're saying at the same time. That's kind of, yeah. You get to the thing, it's like, oh, they're dealing with so much, I don't want to add my shit to their shit. I get what you're saying, actually, a lot. And also, yeah, you should, Jessica, right, you should always have a safe space that you can go. Now, there's a couple different ways you can go about the privacy boundary. Okay, the first one would be telling them ahead of time. Okay, maybe you're talking to, again, we'll use the, talking to people through a social media bit. You go talking to someone about something privately and you say to them, you know what, I really would appreciate, I want to share something with you, but I'd appreciate it if you would keep this between you and me because it's something that I'm dealing with and all. You have that right to ask that. And okay, now I'm going to be honest with you guys. Yes, you have a right for that to be kept private. You totally do. But you also have to realize Everyone, sometimes, especially certain things, people have different feelings on how, if you're sharing something that could be dangerous, someone may share that information back out because they care about you. There's a lot of different things that go on. Okay, but if that person tells you, okay, I'm going to keep this, you should be able to expect that they're going to keep that private. Okay, if they give you their word that they're going to keep it private. In fact, I've gone as far as to say to someone before when they've asked that of me, I promise, and when I give people a word that something's private, I mean it. And but I have been known to say to someone, you know what, if I feel that whatever it is that you're telling me might put you in danger, okay, or things like that, because I do worry on a mental health level, especially, you don't want anyone getting in a dangerous place. And so I have done things. I've had to do that before, okay, within my career field, when I'm talking with an employee and they might share something with me and you're a mandated reporter or something like that. So I'm kind of talking on that level. So always be careful with those things, always. So let's see, Christola said, the only thing is, in my opinion, only tell something to somebody you know and trust to tell anything private. Somebody you know won't share. Yeah, exactly. We tend to be very, as most of us are very trusting. I'm very trusting, almost too trusting. And that can get us in trouble sometimes too. So you've got to always approach everything. I always approach everything I say as if I hope the person keeps it private, but I have to be open to the fact that it could become public again. So am I okay with that? Am I okay with the world hearing something that I said? Because God forbid if it does come out. If not, then I probably should not be talking to people about it outside of a therapy or something like that. And also, but that's just me and my thoughts. The other type of privacy boundary that you're talking about is after the fact. And this happens a lot, especially if you have an elderly person in your life, okay, or someone who has no boundaries in their life. And they love to tell everyone in the world stuff. And maybe you haven't told them you don't want something shared, okay? Let me go, what's the subject? Okay, years and years ago, I was trying to get pregnant, okay? I wanted to be a single mother more than anything in the world, so I was trying to do IUIs, things like that. What if I had gone, mom knew about it, things like that. What if I had gone to a party, family party, and my mom still does stuff like this all the time, okay, gets talking with everyone, says, oh yeah, by the way, you know, she's going right now and trying to get pregnant and all that, and all that. Whoa, I didn't want the world knowing about that, okay? That's an after the fact type thing, where you would go up to your loved one or whoever it is who's doing that and saying, in this case, Mom, can I ask you a huge favor in the future? Please don't share that information. I'm not at a place I want that shared with people, please. Okay, so that's an after the fact thing. They've shared, and you know they're most likely going to share it again. And people will say things. Okay, in fact, Mom loves to say things. When we go out, she'll say things, and I'm like, oh, God, I didn't want the attention brought to me. And so that's the privacy boundary. That's the ability for you to say, okay, you know what, please, can you not share that? I'm not in the place where I want that shared. I'll let you know. If I get to a point where I'm okay with it being shared, I'll let you know. I promise you, I'll let you know. And you could go tell everyone in the world that you know, okay, to your heart's content, but for right now, can we not? And so Kate, my 91-year-old mother has no boundaries. What are the perks of being? I think that's it. I think that's it exactly. And I'll tell, or the worst, okay, I'll tell Mom about the privacy boundary type stuff, and she remembers for about a month or two, and then she forgets, and then I have to have the whole conversation again. Mm-hmm. So be prepared for that also, especially with this, because a lot of times those privacy boundary things are coming from a place of pride. Okay, a parent who is proud of their child for getting a promotion at work and now making $100,000 a year, and then goes and tells everyone in the community that their child is making $100,000 a year, and all things like that. So it can happen quite often, and all that way. So, but that would be a privacy boundary. So Going back through this now, okay, I'm going to click on these and hopefully not miss these. And from here, I want to see what is the boundary you feel you need to work on first for yourself. So I'm going to go back through all of them right now, and you let me know in chat or down below what boundary you feel you need to work on for yourself the most. And if you don't want to write it, just say it in your head. So it's something that you know you are going to work on and start looking at. So first we have our privacy boundary, followed by the information boundary. Okay, making sure information, you don't have to tell people everything in the world. Feedback boundary, okay, where people are giving advice all the time and you just want to be heard. Okay, maybe you are a pregnant woman who is so tired of everyone in the world telling you everything you need to know about raising a child or something like that. Okay, next is a support boundary. Maybe you have someone in your life who is really kind of one-sided when it comes to the friendship. And you might need to be a little bit more verbal about, you know what, I care about you and I understand you're going through a lot right now, but I really need some time for myself to work on some issues because I'm starting to go underwater here right now. And labeling boundaries, maybe it really frustrates you and you have someone in your life, maybe a significant other who loves to use labels on you all the time and it really frustrates you. Or that triggering conversation. Maybe you have someone in your life who loves to get into those conversations that just trigger you and everything blows up from there. So which boundary would you like to see yourself work on? Jet's mom is talking support boundaries. Yes. Support boundaries is one of the biggest ones in the world, definitely. Support, there we go. We got a lot of support ones here. And that would be one, actually, that's a discussion we can pull over into Discord. Okay, we have our Sensitive Life Discussions folder there. If people want to work on a certain boundary together and on help each other with ideas and stuff like that, write them out in there, your thoughts. What are things you can say to someone to address those boundaries, things like that. Crystal, my boundary is on my part. I actually am a one-sided when something is going on with me. I sometimes fail my friends at but we all, and I've said this to actually some of you guys in here, actually one of my closest friends, I remember hearing them say to me, you know what, I feel like you're always supporting me and I'm not there for you. And that was like years ago. And well, that's turned now. And that's exactly what I said. I said, yeah, that's because right now you need me. But you know what? I'm going to be there for you. You're going to be there for me. And I know you're going to be there for me. And that person has been there for me many times. And but recognizing those things. So thank you, those of you who added your ideas in there. We will be doing Cantina. I might push it to, let's see. Keep an eye out. Actually, I'm showing 15 minutes right now. Let's say 30 minutes from now. If I can start it early, I will start it early, but I actually need to schedule it still. So it's going to take a little longer to do that. Because I didn't schedule it, you guys are not going to go automatically over there tonight. So please keep an eye out for your notifications if you want to join us for Cantina tonight. Hopefully we can have a lot of fun. Hopefully we can have a lot of fun. There is going to be a Cantina coming up in about a month where I may not be able to do Cantina, but may try to do something from Waikiki. We'll see. I'll tell you guys more about that during Cantina time. So aloha. I love all you guys tons. If you guys have questions, if you want to talk story, if you have something you just want to share, if you have subject ideas, whether it's for mental health or missing people or whatever, please email me at thelocalmylife@gmail.com. You can also join us over on Facebook. Okay, or of course Discord. I'm trying to work on Discord more and more, trying to find more time for that. Christola, thank you so much for sharing that. Yes, as Christola just said, 11:15 to 11:20 Central Time. Cantina night, we can have some fun and enjoy ourselves. Love each and every one of you. I love you, Christola. And I will see y'all in just about 30 minutes. Aloha, mahalo. Take care of yourself.